Thanks, Tessa. There was speculation this week about a possible stock market decline. There's a lot of uncertainty in Canadian and U.S. politics, which appears to be impacting the stock market. But despite that, according to reports, Canadian stocks are expected to perform well. To talk more about the U.S., we bring in Steve Sickcone from the University of New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
A pleasure to be here.
To start, where is this speculation about a potential crash coming from?
One of the main ones is the decline in interest rates that we've had over the last year or so, and it's been a fairly slow decline. But there's concerns that won't continue through the year. And so that's related to the inflation concerns that we still have in the economy. So if the Fed doesn't continue to cut interest rates, if it keeps them steady, even potentially, let's say, increasing them again because of these inflation concerns, then that's always bad for the stock market. So lower interest rates are good for the stock market just in general. So some other concerns are the U.S. debt is very high. Another thing is simply the overvaluation that we possibly have, and especially in the tech sector, we've seen huge run-ups in the prices of tech stocks over the last few years. And so there are some in the market that believe that now that particular sector especially is overvalued, and that if those stocks don't live up to the expectations, that we're going to see a sharp decline in those stock prices. And of course, there's always concerns about the housing market. Housing in the U.S. and Canada, I'm sure similar, is very high. And so, that hasn't really come down that much, even despite the high interest rates in the mortgage markets. And so that's also a concern that could slow down economic activity. So another concern is the incoming presidential administration, especially the uncertainty about Trump's talk about tariffs, which could, of course, lead to trade wars. So there's a lot of people in the market that are fearful of that.
Is there a possibility of a crash in the near future?
I don't think that 2025 is going to be a particularly bad year for the stock market. There's nothing to me that says, hey, there's really these big warning signs that say, hey, in 2025, we're going to have some sort of crash. Crashing can occur anytime. I wish I could predict it. And so that's just in general, the stock market is virtually impossible to predict. But I personally don't see any warning signs that there is going to be a crash in 2025 that's really any more likely of a possibility than any other year.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
Thank you.